All right, we are out in the Q50, so let's talk about how you switch maps in this car. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for stopping in. I hope you all had a great holiday weekend. I've had a lot of questions come up lately, especially over the last couple of weeks, about specifics regarding tuning these cars, the Q50s, G37s, Z cars, things of that nature. As far as what do I tell the tuner when I go in? What are they going to ask me? What should I be prepared for? And how do you switch maps? These are questions generally for people, obviously, that are thinking about getting their car tuned and just don't have an experience, because obviously once the car is tuned, the tuner is going to tell you how to switch maps and things of that nature. But I thought I'd talk about that today. Real quick before we get started, I wanted to say thank you to everyone that sent messages of happy holidays and best wishes this weekend. It was really, really awesome. Very much not expected. So it was pretty awesome to get up Thursday morning for Thanksgiving and see a bunch of messages from all of you. It was pretty cool. So thanks again very much for that. And if I haven't responded to you yet, I will. But just wanted to say thank you from my family to yours. But anyway, let's get right into this video today, shall we? So I'm going in to get the car tuned. What do I tell the tuner? What's the tuner going to ask me? How am I supposed to switch the maps? You know, if I get different maps, how do I go back and forth from one to the other? What's all this mean? What's happening? What's happening? Just calm down. Calm down. Take it easy. Take it easy. First of all, there's not a whole lot to talk about or to think about or to decide. One thing I would encourage everyone to do is make sure you look for an EcuTech or an UpRev master tuner. You don't want to just go to some random shop and have them start messing with your car. I'm not even sure what they're able to do. You need that software to get into the ECU of the car anyway. But just make sure it's a reputable shop that knows what they're doing. Now, the conversation might be a little bit different as you move up into these forced induction cars, but if you're driving like a Q37 platform, so a G37 or a 2014-15 Q50 or a 370Z, there's really not a lot to discuss because the tune is the tune. You're not getting a bunch of different maps unless you're getting a flame map or the pops and bangs and burble tune or whatever. There's not much else that they can do. So they might ask you, I'm sure you've made an appointment anyway, but if they forget and you walk in the door, they might ask you, what are you here for? And you just have to tell them whether or not you decided on EcuTech or an UpRev tuner or whatever that shop is familiar with or specializes in. Just a side note from what I hear, if you are interested in just the burble tune or the flame map, UpRev might be the way to go. I think it's a little bit less expensive. I believe they even offer just a flame map. You don't even have to get a performance tune necessarily if you just want to shoot flames. If you're into that kind of stuff, they have that option available. So it could be an option for you. But if you want to go for a really finely tuned tune, I think from what I hear from tuners, EcuTech allows a little bit more access for the tuner to make even more fine adjustments to get you more a refined tune. So just some things to keep in mind. Other than that, there really isn't much more for them to ask you or much more for you guys to discuss because really they're limited on what they can do. It's different than with the forced induction cars where the conversation might be a little bit different, where they can adjust different boost settings for each map. But with the VQ37 platform, like I said, you're limited. You're only going for 30 to 50, 55 horsepower to the wheels over factory, so it really just doesn't make sense to have different levels of performance. Like I said, it doesn't make sense. So really the conversation is limited to, you know, what software platform do you want, either UpRev or EcuTech, and in addition to the tune, do you want pops and bangs and do you want flames? That's it. But now that this is all situated, this is what gets us to the main question that I've been asked lately. How do you switch maps? It's generally people that are looking to get tuned that are asking this question just because they're not familiar. Obviously, if you're tuned, your tuner is going to tell you how to do this. But let's go through that right now. Let's head out to the car. All right, we're out in the Q50 right now. We're going to talk about how you actually switch the maps. Once your car has been tuned, what do you do to make the adjustments? So the area we're going to be focusing on, believe it or not, is your steering wheel, your controls on the right side in particular, and also your tach. Now this is going to be specific to the 2014 and 2015 Q50s because I'm not quite so sure. how the G cars and the Z cars steering wheels are set up and how you switch maps in those cars. And also for the newer Q50s and 60s, I know some of their steering wheels get a little bit different as the newer they get. Again, let's just keep this specific to the 2014, 2015 Q50 37s, and also with EcuTech software, because uprev may be a bit different as well. So just keep that in mind. So obviously, you need the car on. Ooh. So you'll notice that I have paddle shifters in this car. This is 2015 Q50 base. But if you are pre-2016, there's a very high likelihood that your car was pre-wired for paddle shifters if you had the base or premium, which this one was. If you haven't been following along, I did an installation video on these. So if you're curious as to how that installation goes or where you get some of the parts in terms of the paddles or the shroud, go take a look at some of my older stuff. If I can remember, I'll put a card across the top of that video as well. Mileage is going down as we sit here and idle. Okay, let's get to this. So we're going to focus on this part of the steering wheel, as I said. And what we're going to do is hold the cancel button, and as I do that, watch the tachometer. So here we go. Holding, and it clicks up to 1. So that tells me that we're in map 1. Okay, and then after a couple of seconds, it'll drop itself back down to idling RPM. So to adjust what map you're in, you would obviously hold the cancel button until the tack needle bumps up, and then you adjust maps by using your little toggle switch here. So I have the flame map installed, so that would be map 2. I did it just for fun. I never use it, and if it wasn't given to me, I probably would not have installed it, but nonetheless, we got it today. So to get that, if I want to shoot some flames, I hold the cancel button, you see the needle bump up, and then we hit it up to 2. You can drop it back down to 1 as well, but we'll put it in 2. We'll sit there. You can also hit cancel, and that'll select it basically, but it'll drop itself back down. Now if you want to make sure, you want to confirm that you're in map 2, you would just hold the cancel button again, and the needle shoots up. So we're putting it back down to 1. You can hit cancel. There it is. Let's check it out. We're in map 1. So if you haven't figured it out, obviously map 1, map 2 is flames for me, but if you get pops and bangs and everything else, that would be different. If you're in a newer Q50 or 60, you could have map 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the case may be. Number 8 is valet mode, so if you're going to a hotel or a fancy restaurant and you don't want somebody driving your car, the valet kid driving your car all crazy, you can put it in valet mode. If you are lucky enough to have a 2016, 17, 18, and newer Q50, Q60, you might have map 4 or 5, a kill map, something real crazy if you're doing some racing. So you can see the difference there. If I had 2017 Q50 and I had been tuned, I might have map 2, map 3, map 4, each one a little bit more aggressive. And then you hear some people talk about the kill map, which would be not the map you drive around in all the time, but if you're gonna do a quick race, you put it in there. That's the most aggressive parameters. And bam, the car is going to perform to its maximum level. But again, it's probably not a way that you'd want to drive around, which is why you have the ability to switch out of the maps. Now I will say, if you buy the EcuTech dongle and the cable and plug it in and you get the EcuTech app on your phone, you can switch maps through that as well, which is pretty handy. I've been asked several times recently too on whether or not you can switch maps on the fly, which is a great question and something that I was curious about myself. So I actually tried it not too long ago, and I can't. There may be a way around it. There might be a way to do it, but I'm not aware of it. So if you are aware, let me know and I'll share the information. Now, if you're not quite sure what I mean switching maps on the fly, say you're in your base tune map 1, and you're cruising down the interstate and you got some buddies rolling up on you and you want to shoot some flames, can you hold the cancel button, switch to your flame map on the fly? The answer, as far as I know, is no. Now you can switch maps at a stop sign. You don't have to be in neutral, you don't have to be in park, you can roll up to a stop sign, and as long as the car's in idle, you can switch maps. So let's check that out. So let's try that just for fun. We'll put the car in gear, in drive, hold the cancel button, hits 1, you can switch it in 2. So you can, it's doable, but not while you're driving down the road. Well, I hope that was a little bit of helpful insight for you guys as far as switching maps and what you need to know when you go in to get the car tuned. If you have any additional questions, leave them in the comment section below. I'll definitely get to them. Appreciate you guys watching very, very much. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. A lot of good things coming up for the Q50 this winter. Super excited. Getting ready for autocross next season. So again, thanks for watching. Stick around. Appreciate the thumbs up. See you in the next one.